Hello, Jack the Questionable here, and this is a very special D.M.s corner for World's Largest Dungeon. I will start doing that on Friday. Or start running it on Friday. The characters have pretty much all been made last Friday after the end of Death Watch. Sorry we couldn't do the Twitch last Friday. We moved to a new location, but this Friday, hopefully we'll start doing the Twitch. Otherwise, I'll be recording with the camera and putting it on later. Or we'll just do it on YouTube. We'll probably do it on YouTube or Twitch. Anyway, this is a very special campaign. A large dungeon. It takes a character, or a group of characters, from level 1 to what it says is level 30, but I think, prospectively, it'll be level 23, 22. If they're not searching through the whole dungeon, you don't have to search through the whole dungeon. You could probably beat the whole thing going through 5 of these things. 5 or 6, depending on how well they roleplay, how well the characters are with each other, because it's very group dependent. It depends on how well, like, let's say the rogue, we have a rogue. I suggested to have a rogue. For groups, have at least 4. You have to have at least 4 people. I have a group of 7, I think, 6 or 7, and you gotta have at least a rogue and a cleric. There's no way you're getting through the dungeon without at least a rogue and a cleric. You can get through the dungeon without a rogue. There's no way you can get out without a healing character. You wouldn't be able to live, or you'd have to take a lot of long rests through the first dungeon, through the second dungeon, or through the parts. So you gotta have at least a rogue and a cleric. So how well the rogue has to work, how well the skills are. Tell them beforehand that you're running this. You can't just be like, okay, I'm running a campaign today, and have them write characters and then all of a sudden just pull this shit out. No, don't do that. That's not happening. So the way they have it written is you're not supposed to go through the whole dungeon, but you can go through the whole dungeon. It just takes a little bit of finesse. It suggests that have each part of dungeon be a regular dungeon crawl in your own campaign. There is a way to get through the whole thing without having a side campaign for this. So each one of these, one part, yes, this is rather big. And each one of the little squares, if you can see a little square in there, that's 5 feet. That's where the character stands. So these dungeons are huge. Huge. Really big. I've used this over a very long time. This is produced by AEG. It came out when 3rd edition was still around. Not 3.5, 3rd edition. It was still very new when this came out. So I think this took about 3 years to write. Right when 3rd edition came out, and then they made Tolis, the world's largest city, after that for 3.5. Yeah, it took them that long to write for that secondary. Anyway, and it says it has every monster in the monster manual. No, that's a lie too. It doesn't have every single monster. It has most of the monsters. It doesn't have the Tarrasque, which is the group-ending monster. There shouldn't be a way to beat this monster, the Tarrasque. So it doesn't have the Tarrasque. It doesn't have certain types of dragons. It doesn't have certain types of monsters. So it has most of the monsters. It has lots of goblins, for sure, at the beginning. As you go throughout the whole thing, the monsters do start to get harder and harder. So, how to get through this? Have at least 4 people. Tell them beforehand that you're running this. Help them make characters. Have a rogue and a cleric. So, my rules are, you can only use the complete books, which is complete warrior, complete arcana, complete divine. Not complete champion. That book sucks. Get on that. But that book sucks. Don't even suggest having a character from complete champion because that book is terrible. Only allows those books. I allow Races of the Wild as well because 2 of the people are playing catfolk, and I allow catfolk. No monster classes other than +1 level adjustment. So, catfolk. Drow, yes, but there is a section of Drow which would kill that Drow character. Just dead on. If they're helping the group, they would kill that Drow character. So, notice them beforehand. One person wanted to say Drow, but I was like, no, she changed to catfolk. Kobolds are fine, obviously. Pretty much any low-level monster classes are fine. But then again, just play base races if you can. Don't play druids. Druids are incredibly hard in this because you can't summon. Most of this dungeon doesn't allow you to summon monsters, or if it does, there's a chance of badness. Like, let's say you're in later parts. If you summon a monster, that monster stays there. So it stays there, and it realizes it has to stay there, and then it will try to kill you to try to go back to whatever the original plane it was from. Or it'll just run off and alert other monsters that you're there. Or the summoning just won't work, or spells won't work in certain areas. Just plain spells won't work, anti-magic fields. It's really bad. But again, you can get through this easily. I've ran this game twice. I played in it originally as a halfling who died in the second going because we got surprised and the wizard was just, boom, you're dead. I got surprised. I was a halfling rogue. No, I was a halfling fighter. And it was going okay. The group was meshing kind of well. We had a lot of players. Okay, so it started with 4. It didn't start with me. I joined up, and then it got to like 10 players, and the DM was like, no, I gotta kill people. So he killed us. He killed a lot of people in that one game. He killed me. And he's like, well, you can come back as a monster class from the dungeon. So half the people we kill was like, no, we can only... They're very elitist. They're very like, no, I want to be my own character. I didn't care. I was like, cool, I get to be a monster. Rawr. And so he gave me Kobold. Kobold Sorcerer, level 5? 4? What is that one? I think it was 5. And I ran with that. I ran with that character until level 12. Now what had happened was, we started using books outside of what he thought we were using. So I started using dragon magic. A lot of people were using spell compendium, which he said was fine for certain spells. He didn't specify what spells though, so it was kind of his fault on that. And so what happened was, I showed him the book. I showed him what was going on, but we just became very powerful characters within the first few dungeons. Within the first 4 dungeons. Well, he said we were all at level 12 or 13. I think one guy was at 15. I don't know how that could be. So we got captured by these things called inevitables. I'm not going to say where, of course, because my group might be watching. So we got captured by inevitables, and they sent us to Celestials. Now this is part of the book. I know this is part of the book. It's an optional thing. All these dungeons have a storyline to them. All these parts of dungeons have a storyline, and the whole thing has a storyline. So, it's part of the storyline. And he said, the Celestials wanted us to help them fight against the demons. I said, alright, yeah. Well, what would happen if we do? Get magical shit. Of course. We want magical shit. I was very powerful sorcerer. There was also another very powerful sorcerer with the group. And we were all very coherent with each other because we started. What happened is, and it's in the player's handbook. It's in the player's handbook too, I think, where you can swap out spells every so levels that you don't seem to be using. So that's what I started doing. I started swapping out spells that I didn't use with spells that are better when the spell continued. So I had Mass Dark Vision, Mass Invisibility, or greater invisibility for one person. That's what I did. There's a barbarian who is fucking badass. You know what I did? I said, large person and greater invisibility. Have at it. And he went to town on it. We just railed on people. If there was somebody that was better than him, we just jump in and shoot. Me and the sorcerer just jump in and shoot. Of course, we had a good thief who died, so we had no thief for a while. He went off on his own. Of course, don't do that in this dungeon. Don't do that. So, what happened was we started getting more powerful, and he sent us on this quest in the dungeon. And so, okay, they had to take us to this island within the dungeon. Yes, there's water in this dungeon. And I don't suggest swimming in the water. I don't suggest having the skill to swim in the water. Don't even be tempted to be swimming in this water. So, I even suggest that to my players. Don't swim in the water. So, we go to the island. Oh no, the island's in the middle of a lava flow. There's also lava. Don't jump in the lava, you'll die. No matter how powerful a character you are, if you jump in lava, you're dead. Unless you have resistance against lava. I didn't. I have resistance against electricity. So, we send us to the island, and we get there. Alright, cool. And the first thing we see is Marilith. If you've never seen a Marilith, let me flip that open. H-I-J-K-L-E-N. That's a 44. Is there a picture of it? Oh, there's a picture of Marilith. Wait. Yeah, there we go. Okay. So you can see it. There's the Baylord, which is a very big monster. And there's the Marilith, which is a snake-like lady with 6 arms and all swords. Yeah. It's standing next to the Baylord. So if it's standing next to the Baylord, it's probably just as powerful as the Baylord, and guess what? It was. Marilith. CR. Adjustment, no. Obviously now you're playing it. You're not playing as Marilith. CR 17. We're all level 12s. We're all level 12s. He sent us against the Marilith. Now he said that was part of the story. You could have disagreed with the Celestials on going on this thing, but they said there's magic shit to get. They said that they would give us magic shit to get. They said that they would give us food, and the food was very important in the dungeon. So, obviously we're going on this fucking quest. I don't know how he saw that we would not go on this quest to get magic shit and food. So, well, not food, because we didn't need food. He made it to where we didn't need food, but I'm doing food. You need food in this dungeon. So, it has 6 swords and It spews fire. Well, it's not spew fire. It has magic. And so we have badass barbarian, badass fighter, badass everybody fighting this thing. We did barely any damage too. And Marilla starts cutting us down. Marilla cuts down barbarian, obviously first. 6 swings plus some. It has more than 6 swings. And all its weapons are magical. All this shit is magical. So everyone's dying. Guess who can fly? This guy. This guy right here can fly. Because I wasn't just a sorcerer. I made a draconic pact with the blue dragon in the dungeon. And so that made me become a dragon. Yeah. I took some negative effects, of course. I became neutral evil. No one knew that. Some people knew that, but they didn't care. They're like, oh, we just need to get through the dungeon. We'll be fine. No, I would have killed them all. I would have tried to kill them all at the end. So, I flew away. Everybody died except me. I tried to help. I did grease spell. I did buffs. It wasn't working, so I flew away. I absolutely did. And he ended the game because he was getting sick of his players. I could see why. I could see him getting sick of his players. He had this gigantic frown when we were playing. We were outsmarting him. We were outsmarting the monsters in the dungeon. We were doing very well. We were getting through the dungeon. So, what happens is, this dungeon is supposed to take 2 years. And they had played 1 year. They had gotten, where's A? Well, I'm not showing A. We had gotten to this map. This map is 2 steps away from the first map. So we got through 2 maps. 2 maps in a year. And I joined up. I was like, no. And yeah, a year. Spent it 1 or 2 maps. Look. Because I actually kind of remember the map layout for the first one that we went through. Boom. Boom. No. Wait. There we go. Boom. Okay, so we got through 2 maps. That was it. It took a year for 2 maps. That's terrible. That was very terrible. And the DM was loving it. The DM was loving it, that we were taking so long in dungeons, and then all of a sudden we just powered through. We were powering through certain maps. Minotaurs were nothing to us. 3 Minotaurs. One of the rogues tricked a trap that sent him to a room with 3 Minotaurs alone, and he survived. He survived that room. He shouldn't have survived. So, he got pissed off, and he killed us all. So how do you run this game? You read the book, obviously. You read the beginning of the book. You read the options. And you allow the options. Like, if you're first time playing, don't do food. I'm doing food this time, and I'm being lenient on food, obviously. Food is very scarce in this dungeon. Like, you would have to eat the creatures you kill. There is smithing, and I encourage it. So do it. Do armor smithing. Do sword smithing. There are smithings in probably each part of this dungeon. There's, let's see what else. Monster levels, don't know it until later. Other books. It goes without saying, don't allow Warforged because they would just smash through everything. Don't allow a lot of things. So, it has every monster in this. And if they're playing a monster, and that other monster sees this monster, they're probably gonna die. Because, obviously, what are you doing? You're helping the group? Fuck you. Kill me. So, sorry, I'm coming down with something. So, I'm running it with 3.5. I'm not doing 3rd edition because 3rd edition was weird. It's not weird, but it's just, I don't have it. 3.5, fine. So, how do you set up? You have your tower. This is Daryl's. And and you set it up like this. So don't show them names, of course. Don't show them names. You have one side. Book and dice will probably go over here. And then the extra books are going to go to the side on the floor or somewhere. Size. And book 2 or portfolio 2 will go right here for dungeon. So yeah, like this. You have to have 2. There's no way you can do it with 1. It's very weird. You have to have 2 of these things. So you do from 5th edition in a 3.5. And then you fold out your map and go like this. Of course, for each section that they enter, read ahead. So, I made a mistake. This is level 1. So, what happens is, I thought they were heading north. Don't tell them where they're going. Don't tell them. So tell them that their compass is useless in here. If they bought a compass, don't even tell them to buy a compass because their compass is going to be useless. And I thought they were going north, but no. They decide, let's go west. Let's go west and just go. And I didn't know that. And they inadvertently entered the next. So the dungeons are set up northwest. Northwest. Now, of course, if the players get onto that, change it to northeast, southwest. And they went west, and they went into the next dungeon, and I didn't read the next dungeon, and it was pitiful. This is my first time running the DM. This was my first time running it. I ran it twice. So, second time was much better. I didn't read it. I had to explain. Hold on, let me read. And I think that's where they ended it. They got ended because I think they got trapped and they died. It's okay. They had fun. The second time around I ran it. That was a lot better because it just was. They knew what they were doing. They had a lot of unit coherency. I think there was double rogues in this group. They were smart. We're playing double rogues. And anyway, so they started actually making their way pretty far. I only ran it for about 3 or 4 months. They got pretty much as far as my first group did. My first joined up group was a year. Took a year? No. So it shouldn't take a year to leave A or B or E. A, B, E. So it didn't take a year. It shouldn't take a year. If it does take a year, they're fucking doing something wrong. I don't know what. Or the DM is just being a prick. Also, it's suggestion here that after they fought their first creature and gain the experience, the full experience, half the experience, do half of the experience after that. Because if they do fight every monster in this one, they're going to be level 5 by the time they reach region 2. Region B, whatever. So, they could be level 5, and that's not good. They need to be level 3 or level 2. They need to be lower than that. They could actually get to level 7. I've seen it. Where they got to level 7 and haven't even left region A. Of course, that's a little bit min-maxing. But, that's a bit power game. They're just going through monsters and getting the experience at full. So, alright. So, have a good group. Make sure the group shows up. Make sure it's a good group that's going to show up. Because if it's not, it's just not going to be a good time. Let's say the barbarian is not there. And they go through a door. There's a fuck ton of monsters. That's not going to be good. Other things to consider. Lighting, sound. So this is a dungeon. Dungeons is dark. let's see. Not using that one. Dungeon is dark. So let's say on this little strip of land, you're down here and the monster's down here. And if it's dark, they can't see you. Well, what if the players have a lantern on? Well, then the monsters get to see them. What if they're making loud noise because one of them is wearing heavy ass armor? And the monster's gonna hear you and get ready for you. Every monster's gonna be ready for you in this dungeon. They've lived in this dungeon thousands of years. Thousands of years. Especially the demons. The demons are gonna be ready for you. Their demons are gonna be ready for the group, so don't do surprise for demons or devils or pretty much anything higher than 5, because anything higher than 5 challenge rating is going to be ready for a group to come by. That's what they're waiting for. They want more stuff. They want to kill things. They want to eat things. So yeah, every creature is going to be trying to hear another creature because that's how they survive in the dungeon. There is a little map 0. But just a little encounter on how to get into the dungeon. I used it once. It's not very good. Make up your own. And they do. They have make up your own. Okay, well, they have 2 tables on make up your own. It's well used to. The percentile, of course. Or the D10. Number 3. Okay, this is how you're getting in. Number 2. Or this is why you're going into the dungeon. I have a reason why they go in the dungeon. Just throw them in there. And they're going to be pissed. That they went in the dungeon. The dungeon. Not even a dungeon. It's the dungeon. That's going to either make your characters really, really powerful at the end. Hopefully. I hope they have fun. Or kill them. Or kill them all. Which happens. And it's still a fun game. It's still a fun game to see how far can a party go. Of course, if you're running the dungeon first, I would say core rulebooks. Just core rulebook. If you're just running the dungeon, core rulebook minus druid. Just minus druid. Allow some books for clerics because undead get fucking powerful in this. So allow the undead books so the cleric can get powerful. Of course, she's playing a favorite soul, so we'll see. The first party, we had a cleric who was so powerful that when a lich showed up, a lich, he stood out in front and went, "Turn undead, you're gone." And he rolled and went by. Exploded the lich. A lich who is so powerful he can raise his own undead. He can create an enervating, a negative field, and he did. He heard this coming and went, "Oh, okay, shit, negative field, undead guys, and traps. We got through the traps easy. We had me too." Because some of the traps were electrical, and I just went, "Oh, okay, I'll just walk by." I was immune to electricity. So, to a certain point. And so when, the lich showed up, oh shit, lich. Oh, I got this, guys. Pow! Gone. And that's when the DM started hating us. I knew it by his face. Was like, I just threw a lich at you. And in one round, before the run round, he exploded. Before the round. We didn't even do initiative. The guy was like, "Oh, bam." We did initiative just for fucking fun. We did initiative, and all of our initiatives until him was hold and wait. Yeah. Our frontline fighter. I will hold and wait. What? That's when the DM was like, "Oh shit, they're powerful. Oh shit, they're gonna get through in fucking no time." Well, we would have if he didn't cheat. I don't believe he cheated, but man, he's a nice guy. I can't say he cheated because he's such a nice guy. I'll of course, when I've run the games, I've only had nice guys in the game. I've never had somebody be fucking powerful or whatever. So that's about that. If they make it to the end, congrats then. Hold a party. Hold a damn party. Hold a good damn party. Because it's so hard to get to the end. There's been a lot of character deaths in this dungeon. There's been a lot. Okay, so when I say don't split up the party, I mean 1, don't split up the party. 2, don't split up the party. Don't go away from the party. Don't go 2 doors away from the party. Don't go a door away from the party if you can help it. I mean, obviously, you're going to have to search some stuff. But, yeah. The party was sleeping one time. This is my second time running. And it was a good campaign. The party was sleeping one time, and we had a sorcerer, I believe? No, he was... I don't know what he was. I know he said he was damn powerful, and I'm going to go off on my own. The party was asleep. And I don't even think the party was asleep. What happened was there's a left turn and a right turn. And they said, okay, I'm going to go off this way. Invisibly. He was invisible, at least. I'm going to go off to the left while the whole party goes right, and then we'll meet up in the middle. And I said, okay. So he goes left. Well, left was to the next dungeon. And, yeah. Up here. I don't believe that was the right way, but... So, left with... Yeah. Okay, so he went right, and then the rest of the party went left, and no one noticed because he was behind everybody. And he went through the door, and I rolled random. I did. I was like, no, I'm gonna roll random. 3 raced up here and started attacking you because they can see through invisibility. You know why they can see through invisibility? Because they're fucking undead. They can smell you. And he survived 1 round. He survived 1 round. He's like, I'm shouting. Cool. The door you went through is 5 feet. Not 5 feet in thickness. About 1.5 feet in thickness. It was not a normal door. Because there's a door to the next part. There's no one hearing you. I let them roll with listen checks. There was no one hearing him. And so he died. And that was the end of the game. Well, that was the end because everyone's schedule got pretty much fucked on the ship. So, don't go away from the freaking party, man. If you're the DM, be like, are you sure? Like that. Are you sure you want to do that? Because that is a really stupid idea. It's a really stupid idea. Just go off on your own. We were resting. This is my first group. We were resting in a forested area. Well, a comfortable area, not a forest. That was different. We were resting in a regular area. We scouted out. Made sure no fucking was there. So we were resting, and the thief and the bard went off on their own. The thief or the bard did not return. His playing deck returned. We found his playing deck at the beginning, and I'm not gonna give. I'm giving this away because this is easy. There's easy to find. There's a dead goblin, and in his hand is a playing deck, and it's magical. It's not the deck of many things, but it's magical, and I can't say any more than that, because my players probably watch this. Whatever. I don't want them to know. It's actually funny on how, when you find out what it is. But the deck of playing cards is magical, so the bard took it, and he kept playing with it. And every time we stopped, he would play cards, and I would play cards with him. Nothing happened. Nothing happened at all. But it's magical. And it's just like, should we really be playing with this? Yeah, we gotta find out what it does. So every time we stopped, he would pull out the deck and play cards. And what happened was, he died, obviously. And we found his playing deck. I took them. And I had the spell identify, and I identified it. I'm not giving it away, but it's so freaking stupidly funny what it does. I wasted 1,000 gold. I found 1,000 gold in this dungeon. It's so hard to find gold in this dungeon. I found 1,000 gold, or however much shit it needs for an identifier. I know it's a lot, and I wasted it on fucking deck. We found a magical sword. I was like, I don't know identify, because I was evil. Yeah, that's how evil I was. I wasn't chaotic evil. I was neutral evil. Being neutral evil, you can be evil. You don't have to be chaotic evil. You just have to be evil and with laws. And I was evil because a lot of the group was being mean. They're being mean to kobolds. And I was a kobold, so I'm like, fuck you guys. I'm not being fucking helpful for this group. I was helpful to a point. I was helpful in combat. I was helpful to the barbarian because barbarian was cool with me. Everybody else was a dick. So they're like, can you identify this weapon? No, I'm sorry, I don't have that spell. Even though I did. And I did it with the D.M. Because I was like, hey, D.M, I have identified them because I don't use it on this deck of cards. You're going to use it on the deck of cards? Yeah. You're not going to use it on anything? No. Fuck no. Sure, yeah. So, one more story. Don't rely on a weapon. Is the start of the story. Don't rely on a weapon because, let's say you take weapon focus. Weapon focus gives you +1 to a certain weapon, like a great sword or a long sword or a bastard sword. And that's what happened was, our frontline fighter took weapon focus bastard sword, and he actually took other feats too, for the bastard sword. Well, we were fighting something that spit acid. The spit acid got on his bastard sword. Now, up until this point, we only searched like 2 of the dungeons, and we have not found any bastard swords. Every time the DM was like, you see a glint of steel in the distance. Shit, that might be a bastard sword. We gotta get over there. So we did. It's like, ah shit, long sword. Ah shit, great sword. Yeah. And he wouldn't allow retraining of feats. Because he realized we were doing the retraining of spells. Not allow retraining of feats because we would have been fucking powerful. And his reason was sound because he was going to train you in the new feat. He was going to train you. There's no one to train you in this dungeon. If you're going to do prestige classes, make sure they pick a prestige class that they can learn in the dungeon. Barrel warrior? Fuck no, they can't be a barrel warrior in a dungeon. Or archmage. Well, I guess you can learn how to be an archmage. But there's certain other things like samurai. Maybe you'll pick up samurai in the dungeon. Or specialties. So on and so forth. Like especially racial specialty classes like luck stealer or the Corellian elf bow thing, which is cool, but you can't learn that in the dungeon. Nothing's teaching you in this dungeon. The reason I became I didn't become a dragon shaman. I know I became elemental savant. What it does is let you become crazy ass powerful in one element. Pick a lightning. The only reason I could do that is because I made an evil pact with a dragon, an evil dragon in this dungeon. I was like, how long are we gonna be sitting here? About a week. We gotta resupply, find dead animals to eat. Or not, but we gotta plan out our dungeon. Our dungeon crawling a little bit more. I said, okay, so I'm gonna meditate for a week. I don't know why we waited so long to do stuff, but yeah, I did. And what I did was like, I told the DM, I'm gonna go for this, and he said, okay, that sounds cool. Is there a blue dragon in the dungeon? He said, yeah, most likely. There isn't. There isn't a blue dragon in this dungeon, but he said, yeah, most likely. So okay, so I meditated. I found a blue dragon, in the dungeon and made an evil pact with it, and it became an elemental slum. And come to find out, at the beginning of the book, it says none of monster races are in here, like blue dragon. Yeah. So I made an evil pact with the blue dragon that doesn't exist in this dungeon. You didn't know that, and I didn't know that, so we were cool. And so that's how I became a prestige class of Elemental Fun. Our other sorcerer was actually sorcerer cleric, who went to the Mystic Third, which is a combination of sorcerer and cleric, or whatever, arcane and divine. And Brad allowed it. The DM, he allowed it because, well, you're a sorcerer and a cleric and combine whatever. Of course, the cleric had to make a fucking strong case on how to become a badass cleric. He did. Everybody else was pretty much pertaining to their own class. Rogue was still rogue, barbarian was still barbarian. I think he might have become bear warrior, but I don't think so. No, he didn't. He didn't. I was trying to get him to become a bear warrior, so I just fuck things up. Pretty much everybody else stayed base class the whole time, all 12 levels, and that's very hard in D&D now to be staying in a base class. That's unheard of now. But in this dungeon, you will, because you'll be like, I need this class. I need to stay in this class. Or it's just hard to find a teacher in the dungeon. There's no teachers in this dungeon. If you have a prestige class in mind, if a player comes up with you, if you have a prestige class in mind, just tell them that you have to make a strong S case for it. You have to, because it's anybody teaching you. So, I'm winding down now. I hope if you run this game, I hope you have fun. If it's your first game, read the first part and just go from there. If they enter a new dungeon, tell them, hey, game's over today. I gotta read up on the next dungeon. So plan ahead. Really plan ahead. It's a fun dungeon. I've never been into a dungeon crawl this fun. It's just, there's nothing like it. There isn't. It's the best dungeon I've been in. And I've run it twice. I'm running it again on Friday. And I hope everybody has fun. No, I feel better. Anyway, that's it for me. Happy travels, of course. And I hope all your games go well. Check the question out.